Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another Arts Notes. This week, a little different to previous weeks. I think every week's going to be different. I'm going to go through an old shoot from last year, just a sort of a street shoot, walkabout I did with my friend Joel in Newcastle. Just have a bit of rumination as I go through it, what works, what doesn't, what I like about it. And maybe what I could improve next time. And yeah, so my friend Joel Alston, is a film wedding photographer. He shoots with film. He's based in Newcastle. He shoots in Sydney. If you're interested in that sort of cool vibe, he's the guy to check out. Barefoot Photographer is his thing, and I'll put the website up here. All right, let's have a look at this shoot.
Okay, so this is the shoot here. It's a little random, a little bit of everything. So Joel and I spent an afternoon just walking around the foreshore of Newcastle. No rhyme or reason, just talking, having a catch up. Joel came out with his Nikon. I think we've got a photo of it down here somewhere at the cafe. Here we go. It was an F3, bit of a classic. And I went around with my usual A7R3, but I think I either... did I have a lens maybe, or did I use the Helios? I think I was using the Helios. So old Russian vintage lens adapted. So yeah, I deliberately tried to shoot, I think, fairly wide open to really have soft images and really let the lens show its characteristics. But I also tried to shoot from the hip without actually looking a huge amount through the actual viewfinder or the back of the camera. So there's going to be a lot of blurry and wacky shots here that don't look good, as you can see here. So the lens is very soft when it's wide open or close to being wide open. And it was, a bit of a challenge. And it was a stupidly bright sunny day, which is awesome, but really hard when you're trying to shoot wide open as well. So let's have a look here. We've got firmware, lens, no information, aperture 100. Yeah, we're at 6400. So we're almost at the limit of the shutter of the camera. And I'm just going to walk through these. So some of the ideas are kind of cool. I like the colors. These are just raw plus JPEG. So we're just looking at the JPEG preview. The program I'm using is Photowalk, if you haven't seen that before. But yeah, this is the sort of challenges you can do to learn your craft a little better as well. Go out, try something harder with your camera, try not to look at it too much and see what you can make. Like obviously, if you're really going out to make something it's going to be a keeper, don't do that, but maybe do it. So I can try and work out what my brain space was. So when did we shoot this? This was October 27th of October last year. And now we're in July 2025. So what was that? 7, 8, 9 months ago. So a while ago. So I usually, looking at what I'm doing here, I'm looking at composition a little bit. As I said, I'm not really looking through the camera though. I'm sort of trying to work it out with that. Horizon skew if, well done Bruce. But these are sort of things I fix later anyway. I'm looking at the people over here in the wade tide pool and the people down here. And this the juxtaposition of calmness of this to the waves over on the right, which is kind of cool. I'd actually not been through this area before, so it was really great to see all these families and a nice space. I really enjoyed that you had this calm area and these waves bashing up against up here on the back of it. Some of their arms up. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, there was a surf life-saving like people, kids here. Yeah, I can see where I was going for here. I'm going for these people in the middle of the pool. But I'm finding the foreground a bit too noisy. Looking at this kid going in. It's kind of fun trying to work out what you're looking at in retrospect. That's a bit of a challenge. Yeah, like this is pretty cool, the waves. What am I shooting at there? Yeah, I'm right on the limit of the shutter on this. So, and I'm still getting blur because I'm obviously moving because we're walking and talking. So we weren't really pausing specifically a lot of the time. I think we were taking our time, but we weren't like, we're sort of that in between walk and shoot. Let's go in 2 times. Scroll on down to Funky Taylor. Probably fun to Navigator. They look cool. I like the blur on them. This is part of the problem with the softness of the lens, right, as well. And then you can see this is a JPEG because of the artifacting and stuff. So that's at full res. I kind of like it. So I'm going to mark that one. Give it a 3, which should give me a green to come back and look at. Or was that one better? Quick zoom in. Oh, maybe better. Lifeguard. This is pixel peeping. I don't need to be that. I want the... What's the wave? The wave's the more important thing. Oh, very similar. I must have double tapped on that. Actually, I'm going to go with the second one. We'll leave both there, and then we'll keep on scrolling down. Oh, and see the next one in that frame has this person, but this is a distraction now. So we'll keep on moving. Oh, that wave gets bigger, doesn't it? Yeah, see me panning. Trying to get the rest. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. See, if that was a really crisp, sharp portrait and I didn't have this or this here, even this person, just this individual, that would be awesome. But that's not the game we're playing. Obviously, spent a little bit of time having a play with that. Then we've got this signal here. I have a thing of isolating people. I don't know if it's because I've loved it in street photography or other things, but even in my art practice, isolation is something I definitely play with. Yeah, more of this. This is kind of a cute scene. Don't see a lot in here. So this is really just good, just seeing the world. Am I seeing anything that's interesting in here? Like this guy with his head down, person's looking, kids looking different ways. I think the focus point is actually out the back there. Now, being sharp or not is not the biggest thing. Yeah, he's the sharpest. These kids are the sharpest. You can see how much bloom is in this lens and how soft it is. See, I don't mind it being like that because that's the reason why you get these lenses. I'm not seeing anything great here. I'm going to keep moving through. Ooh, this is me playing a bit more with the actual architecture of the space as well. Loving the lines. So it's exactly what I've been drawn to. You can see me finding how to probably bring this line in from the edge, and this one and this one. This water spray coming through, it's interesting. And then okay. Editor Bruce always hates photographer Bruce, or cameraman Bruce. And this is a good example. This guy walking through here with this line going to, if he was here, depending on who he's doing, that could have been an interesting shot. Just because the line works, but no. I can see what it's doing here, trying to play with the bird, the ship, and the families. Did I get anything here? Bird's gone. The family, these people here. I've tried to isolate these two to the boat and then these, so sort of getting a... That's kind of cool. I liked it with the bird though. But it's not as... obviously I've moved forward. It's not a zoom lens, so it's me needing to move forward. What would make this a better shot is if the boat was flipped, going that way, and these kids were walking the opposite way, I think. Although this is not too bad. The horizon running through her head's a bit annoying. Would have been cool to have her just slightly below. Just because then it would become this 100% like two things, two worlds separated. Although having a head running through it maybe is the only joining part of it. Then you got all these kids in the front doing their swimming. Maybe I'll tag that one. I don't know if it's good enough. I'll probably put this to infinity. Just look at how this is reacting to the sun. Wow. Yeah, it has. So the aperture on the Helios is 1.2 or something like that. No, it can't be that. It must be 2. I think it's a 2. Quintessentially me. The no diving. This is cool. The problem with it is that I don't have anybody diving. If I had somebody jumping in the water or something like that, you know, that would make a great image. But as it stands by itself, it doesn't really have that. And I don't think I've got that anywhere. You got a swimmer, but it's not diving. Visually, like as a construct, it's cool. Just missing that thing. Back a person's head. Nothing interesting. Yeah. Using lines again to lead down to the person, breaking things up. And all I'm doing there. Shooting from the hip. There's a slice of life, that's not too bad. Okay. I feel the sky is featuring prominently in my work in this one. This is definitely playing into my abstract ideas. Oh, which one looks cool? I definitely flattened it out there. And I like the mess of the people in there. I think that one, let's smoke that. Yes, I really like this one, just the feet isolated by itself with the people in the background. So I've definitely stopped down a bit here to do this. So that's the one I marked as I liked. But this guy in the red just picking stuff up isn't really that interesting. Going to a horizontal, so I've got a leading line out and in is really nice. These kids having a conversation is interesting. And then we've got this person involved. So I think I picked something from there. I'm really sure I did. I think it was this one. I just liked the awkwardness of it. All right. Birds, just having a look around. Nothing that interesting. Just looking at the waves. Somebody just doing some art. And looking at me. Hello, dude. Kids walking away from that. Nice bit of slice of life. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I can see a big. Is it my screen? No. Big dust spot. That's kind of fun. Give you a mark. I actually was enjoying the one before. I like that one too. Definitely some dust going on. So at this point, I've obviously stopped down fairly heavily because I'm seeing the dust either on the lens or the sensor. So I like that the bird is facing off the short side of the frame. We got him looking the other way, but there's nothing for him to look at. Like there's nothing for the eye to follow from the bird's eye. It just goes out of frame. But he's doing that way. We got the little boat in the background. Not a little boat. It's a big boat. Obviously, he's trucking down to get. Not as interesting. Brought in an art piece. Maybe. It's not really saying anything though. That's sick of me. Feet. This is cool. More slice of life, but not really. Kind of like that. Crop it in a little bit, get rid of the edge distractions. Just like how awkward it is. Keep moving through. Too much sky. I might grab that one as well. If I go through this real quick, you might notice something. I've obviously got the camera set to silent shutter because there's a lot of warping in the image. Foreground, middle, background. Pity about the pole in the foreground. No. Lassos. Am I getting anything interesting? No. I've walked around with people. I'm not seeing anything interesting. There's obviously some surfers out there. That's kind of a cool slice of life. If I had something in the foreground, like somebody playing volleyball, I think that would have been interesting. But as a framing device, it's pretty cool. I'll mark that one up as well. Classic surfer coming in or out. He's going out by looks of it. No, he's coming in. This lady just sitting there, trying to play the architecture. See how wobbly that is? Right, that's a good example. Look how warped. This is the reason why silent shutter when you're moving quick is actually quite a bad thing. Or an interesting thing. So, yeah, it's definitely warping a lot. Kids doing. Oh, that's right. We found like their little half pipe thing, which is really cool. Look at how warpy that is. So I'd love to have that shot and that shot combined, but that's not the point. Drop-ins. And that's when we then moved out of the beach and walked into town. Very street. Check on your mates. It's a good thing to do. Pilates. That's an interesting juxtaposition. Oh, that's right. We shot this out of his car. This is me shooting out of his car as we drive by. Drive-by shooting. Oh, dear. Buildings. Trying to get a shot out of a car can be quite tricky. Coffee. Oh, this is the cafe we're at, I'm pretty sure. Joel. I'm pretty sure I've edited one of those up. This guy intrigued me with the tracksuit because solicitors and stuff. I don't know. Then we went for a walkabout, and then I think this is where I started doing the Bruce Moyle show, where we went from more normal street photography, even if I was using weird, crappy lenses and stuff, to blurring stuff. Just published that one, which I really enjoyed. That's the raw before I just did some contrast and up with it. And this was a space that just had these lights just hanging in the middle, and we just sort of ducked in, and I just went to town on it. Give me some really interesting contrast and I'll make something. Some cool stuff in there. I might come back to something later. Keep moving. This is another space that was interesting. That's cool. Legs through there. Then, oh, that's right. We found a motorcycle show. And this was different because you'd feel quite intimidated by some of this. So definitely, and I think Joel found it harder to have a chat with some of these people initially. This guy in particular, who won an award, I just asked him about his bike, and you know, dude was so proud. So I got him to pose for a portrait. Now I don't know anything about bikes, but that's pretty damn cool. Look at that. I don't think we'll edit any of these up. We might come back to it later. Just the crowd. There you go. He won something. That's him getting his award. I can't remember his name. Nice community. And then got taken to the airport and chuffed on home. There's a heap of stuff in here as well, but we won't go through that because this is me just doing my own thing while I wait in Melbourne Airport for my connector later. I got some cool shots in here as well. So yeah, if you get bored at an airport, particularly Melbourne, there's heaps of opportunities to find new and interesting things out the windows and the people moving around. I think I had a few hours, so I just walked around the airport shooting everything. So as you can see, I got some really cool one of these guys in the shadows and stuff. You may have seen them on the socials. I spent a heap of time just here at this seat. You can see here just full of people. Sometimes it's just patience, sitting down and just taking it in. so much. Will I use any of that? Well, I've used some of it, but will I use a lot of it? No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't cost anything. Right, let's have a look at what I have edited already. So, different one than I put up before. That one there. I think this one is much more successful. I enjoy that one. The phone, the feet, just moving. Do enjoy the awkwardness of that. And I enjoy that one as well. Slice of life. The feet, I don't know. It's like this. It's like the top half of this guy is here and the bottom half's here. I know it doesn't really read like that, but to me it's kind of fun. I think that's perfect portrait of Joel, except for it doesn't have a camera, but it doesn't need a camera. That is him. The pink plasticky retro watch and the tats and the nail polish and his Ford Ute. Yeah, it's awesome. Put those two together and you've got Joel, just doesn't have a beard. This guy sitting out there we talked about. And that's the more arty style stuff I normally do. Let's grab one real quick to edit. All right, most of this is going to be done in RAW. So obviously the focus is actually on this area by accident. So that's the sharper bit. That's okay. I just like the vibe of this. All right. So my exposure is actually pretty good. Sits in the middle, well, a little bit to the right, but that's mainly because of this water down here. First thing I'm going to do, because I don't really care too much about playing with the exposure, is I'm going to actually muck around with my calibration. I kind of like this sort of shot to be a little green and cyan, kind of Fuji-ish. And then I'll just play with the primaries to give it its flavor. Like so. Let's turn it on and off. So that's most of the work done there for me, really. I will fix the angle, see if it'll do it itself. No, don't like it. So we'll just do it with my hand. Keep that there. Keep the family kind of in the middle. Then I might have a quick look at dehaze, if it'll help a little bit, just to make it a little clearer. Just take some of that softness out. Don't want to lose too much of it. I think that is kind of it. And that is an edit. Is there any dust spots? There's a person down there, I'm pretty sure, on the board. I know I'll finish this and I'll find a heap. But no. That'll do for the moment. Open the object, save it out, done.
So that was a quick insight into my brain and my process and looking through images. It obviously can be different depending on what I'm shooting. But in this instance, it was just a bit of fun, just to see what I made, what we captured. It's great to go back and see it again after a while. The whole thing didn't need to be good or perfect or anything like that. I didn't care. Getting some fun stuff out of it anyway, and it's memories. And it improves the craft. As you could see, the shutter, rolling shutter issues with silent shooting are really obvious. And I knew that at the time, but hey, it's still interesting to point out. Anyway, give us a like, subscribe, and all that jazz. Leave a comment. How do you edit? How do you sort through things? Do you shoot for yourself just for fun? When you do that, what's your thought process? Yeah, let's have a discussion. All right, catch you next time.